How's it going, my bones? SilverDFanng back with more YouTube reactions. We got Couch Co-op. Deadlock is about to change gaming forever. Still haven't played Deadlock. I know way too many people that are into it. This was a cool little video of what makes Deadlock special. I hope you enjoy it, because I did.
Deadlock is going to be one of the...
Okay, so Couch Co-op, Deadlock is about to change gaming forever. Actually, one second. I'm not liking where Pando is right now. Okay.
Deadlock is going to be one of the biggest games in the world. The only evidence I have to back up my claim is that I'm currently addicted to it. And
that's a good starting point. Every cult thinks they're the best cult because they're in the cult. That's good. Good start.
There's a good chance you know somebody who's also addicted to it as well. If you're having trouble figuring out who, I'll give you a hint. They're probably unemployed. This game does every single thing a cynical gamer could get irritated with. It's a MOBA, so that makes you think about League of Legends.
True.
It's a hero shooter, so that makes you
Welcome,
think about any game that
True.
the past 5
Speaking of one of the two people that are addicted to Deadlock, hey Kai. He's the one with a job though.
years. It's got a cartoony art style, which should really seal the deal. It has a variety of negative
I do like the cartoony art style. That's actually a positive for me.
buzzwords associated with it, but there's one thing that manages to save it, and that's the fact that it's developed by Valve. Not only is Deadlock
it's
a
Valve.
game,
I didn't know that.
New Valve game.
That
so
is
what exactly
impressive.
Is this weird Halloween-looking MOBA shooter? Why even make a MOBA shooter at all? And maybe the more important follow-up question, can Valve stick the landing? I think they can. Answering this question starts with Valve's history as a company. Valve is a company that's been at this thing for so long.
He's probably going to say it, but I'm just going to say right now, Valve somehow has become something that's really hard to do in gaming. Be AAA, but still be an indie darling. You might be like...
Welcome Gru_VT.
That's the thing. Gur actually just makes my point. Valve makes good stuff. That's the thing. It's like, Valve owns Steam. Valve owns, like, a big chunk of video gaming. But they are still seen as, like, indie darlings in how they're treated. Because they put out good shit.
The younger gamers might not even really understand the breadth and scope of their impact on the industry.
Wait, they made Dota? God,
Welcome Pokemon community game.
I forgot they made Dota.
I think that's fair, considering how distant they've been from the spotlight for the past 10 years. Their impact on gaming culture was more pronounced during the 2000s. Millennial brain rot, as opposed to Zoomer brain rot, is exhibited in the form of Gmod YouTube videos like this one.
Peel's here. Peel's here. Grabbing Peel. Grabbing Peel. Peel's here. I'll grab everything I can. Here. Grabbing Peels.
Valve's influence on the industry is a lot like Rick Rubin's influence on hip-hop.
Oh, Source Filmmaker too.
By name, but you feel the effects of it regardless.
Yep.
The games you need to know about if we're talking about Deadlock are Dota and Team Fortress 2. You can also throw in Portal if you really want. Anyway, Team Fortress 2 released in 2007 as a team-based multiplayer game. It featured 9 distinct classes with distinctly different designs. It had all the mannerisms of a typical multiplayer shooter of the time.
I played a lot of TF2 back in the day. The original Payload game, yeah. Honestly, it's not the first, but like if you want to like understand like where modern hero shooters come from, it's TF2. TF2 pretty much made the mold that Overwatch, Apex, well, not Apex, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals live in today.
With run-of-the-mill game modes like Capture the Flag. What made this game different from others was that it was intricately woven with a class-based ecosystem.
Yep.
This game treated its 9 classes with a considerable degree of focus and made sure that each of them played completely differently from one another. While the game was initially going to release with an art style resembling the Quake mod it spawned from many years ago, Valve decided to go for a more cartoony approach, while still making it clear the game wasn't exactly for kids.
Come and get me, I say. I'll be waiting on you with a whipping your brimstone. I'm a grim-blooded fable with an unhappy bloody end.
So much blood and gore.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell.
The differences between these classes weren't just kind of faster with a gun that goes burr, or kind of slower with a gun that goes boom. It was as different as this character has no guns with, like, bullets. Their whole thing is explosives, or a sword, but that's another video. This character has slow movement speed. Oh, what gave it away? And while in a vacuum,
Slow movement, HP, defense, like every character is a different playstyle. Everyone feels unique.
this doesn't sound
I
that
also like
important.
Pyro.
In 2007, this was kind of a big deal
Oh
for
my
a game
fuck.
to commit to. I know we've been living...
I never... That's the other thing, is there is a class for everyone. I can never work spy. And then I just have to deal with these, like, spy masters. It's like, how the fuck did you do that? I don't even understand it.
in a hero shooter ocean for a little while now, but this was the only game on the market of its kind in terms of the sheer amount of distinct differentiation between playstyles for a shooter game. Or at least, it was the most popular game of its type. Valve
True.
actually got an idea of how to actually balance a game with this many moving parts by releasing Team Fortress 2, but the more competitive, sweaty balancing dilemma would come about with Dota 2. Dota 2 is a MOBA. That means there is a very specific kind of gamer who will play it. I'm not one of these people. Okay, I lied. I guess Deadlock is a MOBA and I play Deadlock, so I'm one of those people.
There's a bellhop? Yeah, MOBA by design is just sweaty. MOBAs are just sweaty. But as someone who plays fighting games and hero shooters, I don't really have much to stand on. The toxic kind.
Get back here, bitch.
Oh my god, she said it again.
Get back here, pussy!
Jesus. The premarital.
What the fuck was that? What is this bellhop? Jesus?
Oh, it's time to secure there. Which is one?
Dota is a non-shoot-bang type of competitive game, and
Never
there aren't
played
a lot of
Deadlock.
those left. You want to know what happened to games like StarCraft or Command & Conquer? If
No.
you even know of them, they turned into MOBAs. That's what happened.
Wait,
Dota
what?
2, as we know it today, essentially happened because Valve wanted to make a Warcraft 3 mod into something that worked on the Source engine. They also wanted to make a crap zillion dollars competing with League of Legends. What ultimately made
Dota, I think Dota 2 still has the highest tournament payouts of any esport, by the way.
Dota different than League was its complexity. If you've ever played either of these games, you understand how insane that statement sounds in a vacuum. MOBAs in general are known for their complexity, and
True.
Dota is complex even by those standards.
True.
And yes, there are other MOBAs besides Dota and League, but Dota and League are the
Is Rivals a MOBA? I don't know if I would call Rivals a MOBA, but it's close. I did play Smite, and Smite is a MOBA.
most popular by far. There's potential to shake up the genre. We have this Amazon game called March of Giants coming out pretty soon. Nevertheless, Dota manages to stand out.
Whoa. No, I believe, like, by tournament, I believe it's Dota 2, not Counter-Strike. Largest combined might be Counter-Strike, but I believe it's Dota 2.
Out in a market where League pretty much sucked all the oxygen out of the room.
It's
And how
been a
did they
while
do
since
this?
I've checked,
You could
though.
say it has a lot to do with Valve's balancing philosophy, which I find relevant to the Deadlock conversation. First of all,
Cute.
Dota came before League. You have to understand that League was an attempt to take the complex moving parts of the first Dota Warcraft mod and distill them into a palatable package for a mainstream audience. Dota 2 said, nah, I want all that complexity. A good example of this would be the ability to attack your own minions and
Wait,
drive their
what?
gold to the enemy lane.
That's
This is a
kinda cool.
carryover from old school RTS games that basically had the attack on this specific cursor position command, which is a useful contextual tool to get your army to focus fire. Sometimes you can get it to interact with map terrain like trees, which are often used to conceal
I now see the World of Warcraft influence in Dota. Screen lock is a godsend. I don't even know what that
from
means.
opponents in Dota, trees that you can destroy. No, the main difference between League and Dota isn't the ability to mercilessly sacrifice your own minions or trees. Items in Dota are also much more complicated than League.
Oh
In
my
League,
God.
You just go to the shop, hit buy, and then you get your item. In Dota, you have a courier that walks the items to you.
Why?
You have 6 item slots.
Why?
And 3 backpack slots.
That's so
Instead
much
of
more
unlimited
work.
League recall spells, you have a teleport scroll with limited uses. You have high ground visibility and low ground lack of visibility. There's nighttime and daytime.
Are Dota 2 players okay? They sound like they want to suffer. They sound like they love pain.
Vision. Some heroes have better night vision, some don't. The point is, compared to the competition, Valve does not shy away at the idea of complexity. League is a game about spicy playmaking and individual splashes, whereas team play ripples throughout the course of a whole hour of a Dota game. I could go on and on about League and Dota and what makes them different. The main difference that will become relevant the moment you start playing Deadlock
Panda
is zero
wizards.
balancing. Dota's philosophy is essentially, if everything's overpowered, nothing will be. I'm talking about Hook. I'm talking about Sunstrike. I'm talking about...
I'm sorry. Yup, and Blizzard tried to sue them when they made Dota its own game. Remember I said there's a reason why people still love Valve? They also aren't up their own ass.
Echo Slam. I'm talking about Black Hole. And as far as I can tell, Deadlock is kind of the same way. I'm talking about Hook. I'm talking about Black Hole. Wait a minute. The man behind Dota's balancing is a shadowy figure who goes by the online alias Ice Frog. Not much is known about the guy, other than the fact that he's been with Dota since its inception as a Warcraft 3 mod, scouring the online forums of yesteryear. Truth be told, the only reason I even know anything about him is because of his name getting thrown around in the Deadlock Discord. And to that point, there isn't strong evidence that he is even in the Deadlock Discord, but people have their suspicions. I don't have any evidence to say Ice Frog isn't balancing Deadlock, so therefore I can logically assume that he could be. Schrodinger's frog aside, maybe it's worth specifying what makes Deadlock
You go,
similar
Ice
to
Frog.
Dota, not necessarily from a balancing perspective, but from a genre perspective. Deadlock is a 6v6 game with 3 lanes, a left, right, and a middle lane. So each
MOBA.
lane is a 2v2. There are small towers called Guardians that do a little bit of damage.
MOBA.
And there are really big towers called Walkers that do a lot of damage while taking more time to kill. 3 lanes, 3 Guardians, and 3 Walkers. There are also a bunch of little towers at the home bases. It's important to kill one of the Walkers as fast as possible because it gives you an extra item slot. There are home bases with a bunch of Guardians to chew through. 2 more sub-objectives called Shrines, protecting the big boss turret called the Patron, which is this floaty guy. And then when you shoot the floaty guy enough, they fall into a massive pit where the game can be won if you bring it down to 0 HP. As it stands, the game is close to 36 characters. I'll briefly highlight some of the more powerful abilities. This is...
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. None of this matters. They all suck because Silver the Wolf Girl is in it now. That's right, I know about Silver because of course I do.
Is 7. He's a criminal mage who was put on the electric chair rather than succumb to capital punishment. He became the electric chair. His ultimate was my first...
By the way, chat, this is something I've known about Deadlock fans, is one of the things that they love saying is how like updated Deadlock gets. Because yeah, Cameron's just like, oh, the 2 bases and patrons look so much better now. Yeah, apparently they like update like every month because like every video I've watched, a Deadlock person's like, oh, it changed completely now. Yeah, Valve respects gaming. They take care of them themselves.
First introduction to Ice Frog's balancing philosophy a little over a year ago when the game first came out. 7's ultimate is basically a giant sphere of damage over time
I wouldn't go
emanating
that
from
far.
around him. The range of it feels a lot bigger than it should be, and the sheer damage output feels a bit too much the first time you get killed by it. Granted, the first time I got killed by it was the first time I had ever played Deadlock at all, and that was a little over a year ago. I'm used to tactical shooters, where the ability to put up a bulletproof window is considered a novelty. So Deadlock was a bit of a culture
Yeesh.
shock for me. And then somebody brought up the idea of buying an item that literally spawned a cartoon Looney Tunes anvil over their head to send them plummeting onto the concrete, an interrupt to stop the ult. Oh, was about how I responded. There are a lot of abilities like this in Deadlock, mainly found in the form of the game's powerful ultimates. In fact, ultimates are such an important resource in this game that the game lets you see who has their ultimate off cooldown at the top of the screen. Many ultimates are channeling abilities that last a considerable amount of time and do a metric boatload of damage. For example, Bebop's ultimate suspends him in the air to do a literal Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha. Mina's ultimate is an Apache helicopter air-to-ground girl boss missile salvo. Holiday's ultimate is a hard CCing lasso that makes an enemy into what essentially becomes a free kill. Don't get me wrong, there are more subtle ultimates.
Also known as Ultron, and Winter Soldier.
Like Ivy the Gargoyle, literally flying up into the air to drop a bomb on you. But it's kind of funny how that's considered a more utility-focused ult than some of the other ones. Point being, abilities in Deadlock are noticeable. They're not mild adjustments to the gameplay loop or to the outcome of a fight. Every character design in Deadlock is carefully tuned to make sure their components have specific places and specific uses. I can't think of a single ability in Deadlock that I would consider tertiary or useless. If that wasn't confusing enough to you, let's take a look at the item shop.
No,
okay,
that's
look at
too
the next
much.
Page and the next one. Now, what if I told you each hero has 4 abilities, including an ultimate? The other 3 abilities being anything from passive buffs to more explosive options. Sometimes those abilities require you to deal a certain amount of damage to somebody in a certain amount of time to deal a status effect. Sometimes those abilities are skill shots. Sometimes they automatically target opponents. Sometimes they're just bombs that you throw. Sometimes they're a gun. Each ability in Deadlock is a part of an intricate anime fighting ecosystem where every decision can change the outcome of a fight several moments in the future. And that's not all, folks. It's a shooter game too. So every hero has a unique primary weapon, and the rest of their kit is balanced around it. Abrams is a close-range tank with a shotgun pistol, whose whole kit revolves around sustaining himself. You probably didn't need me to tell you that, because you can see he's a big old fella. You probably don't need me to tell you that Billy is the guy who headbutts you to death, or that Victor is pretty hard to kill, considering he's already dead. This game has a lot of moving parts, that's true. The item shop is just one facet of what makes the game so complex. And to some people that comes off as a red flag. People don't have time to make a game into a second job. Unless that second job
The average
doesn't feel
age
like
of
a job.
wait, the average age of players is 36. Those poor kids. Those poor kids. They don't understand gaming. As far as CEOs go, Gavin hasn't caused any shitfication. True.
People don't have time to make a game into a second job, unless that second job doesn't feel like a job. Take builds in general, for instance. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this game is easy to figure out. It's not. You'll spend a considerable amount of time just learning how the items work. I think Valve realized that too, which is why they democratized it. Deadlock's item store can be categorized by builds, so-called sequences of items that
does
you
make
buy
it easier.
as you progress through the game and collect more souls. Souls can be collected primarily by killing minions, which are used to destroy objectives, and monsters scattered throughout the map. But you can also get them by completing objectives and getting kills on enemy heroes. Rather than make you have to figure it out completely by yourself, Valve let unemployed people select the items for you and then have you judge whether or not it's a good idea by virtue of popular opinion. That doesn't mean the build is good, as is the case with Line Pro builds, which you
Welcome,
should
Save
never
G King Wolf.
version.
Your heart fiddled indeed. Being a pirate is a right to bleed. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free.
You are a pirate. Hey, Savage King
Welcome,
Wolf.
Sound Alert.
Thank you for becoming one of my wolves. Thank you for becoming one of my bones. Part of the ship, part of the crew. How you doing? We're watching videos. I'm learning about Deadlock. Because people won't shut up about Deadlock.
Welcome, Save G King
His
Wolf.
builds
Coming
tend
from
to
Lair?
focus on one
Nice.
specific trait to significantly enhance about a character. For the doorman, he has
Well, if you're coming from Lair, hi. My name is SilverDFanng. I'm a pirate wolf boy VTuber. I pretty much, so I do reaction content, but I also pretty much just do a variety of shit. Today is just our casual. We're gonna watch the videos. I'm gonna react. I'm gonna have an
Welcome,
opinion.
Coffee Stream Bud.
ability that's basically like Ash Dynamite from Overwatch. He launches a call bell forwards, and if he shoots it,
I
causes
do
a ton
love
of
the
damage.
fact that there is a
Conversely,
bell
you
hop
can make
in
build that
a
revolves
hero shooter.
solely
I
around
really do
spamming as
love
many
that.
call bells as possible. Alternatively, you can rely solely on the doorman's gun, primarily building gun items that turn a gun that's normally quite punishing.
Oh, yeah, I'm also burnt
into
out from
counter-strike
creating a
decoy.
game.
Then there's the movement.
That's why I'm in bed. Is there a Mr. Freeze? He looks like Mr. Freeze with a beard.
Bitch ass.
My God. It makes me laugh. Just the dead stare, just the unemotional blinking, and out of nowhere, just dead ass. So, hey, this is just so much.
Incoming ad break.
Deadlock takes place in a ghostly version of New York City in the 1950s. The map on which you play
50s?
features distinct rooftop
Try
pathing,
to, like, the
ground level
20s or
pathing,
30s,
and
dude.
subway pathing below. Every hero has the ability to dash through the air, and they can often chain dashes into complex acrobatics. The sliding...
I will say, this is what makes Deadlock interesting to me, is the movement and the wire work.
mechanic gives you infinite ammo while you're in the middle of the slide. To that end, there is a character, Viper, whose entire fighting kit revolves around sliding. You can build a tanky character with a couple of dashes, or a nimble character with tons of dashes.
What is this
You can do
world?
this
There's Snake
on any
Man,
character. Some characters
Victorian
rely almost entirely
girls,
on movement to make their kit work. Like
a
the case
goat.
of Lash, who uses ropes to sling himself up into the air, from which he can slam down onto the ground. Did I mention the higher you are in the air, the more damage the ground slam does? Is the game perfect? No. It's in a weird development cycle where you can only get access by getting an invite. And that means that the balancing is definitely not going to be this way on launch. And it's hard to say what the final product is going to look like. How do you get an invite? Well, you can go to the r/deadlockthegame subreddit, and maybe somebody will pity you. Aside from that, the game didn't get updates for several months while it languished into stagnation, and most people walked away from it. Now it looks like the game is starting to look like a game in the sense that it has polished menus, which sounds superficial when I say it out loud, but if you compare it to how the game menus used to look years ago, you understand exactly what I mean. Aside from all of that, the game oozes with a distinct Valve sauce that I just cannot attribute to any other game dev out right now. I'm the kind of person who actually doesn't hate Valorant lore, but even I know that Riot is not sending their A-team on that front.
Fuck you,
Deadlock's
Riot.
world is rich and personality driven. Each character feels like a real person, and the predicaments that they're in feel uniquely human. Deadlock takes place in an alternate reality where occult gates opened across the entire surface of the Earth, seeping paranormal activity into our everyday lives. It's
Okay,
an
that makes
excuse
sense.
for artists to play around with vampires and witches and demon detectives in a noir setting of New York City. And it's so freaking cool. Hayes is an agent of what's essentially the ghost CIA.
Cute.
Bebop is a terrifying scrap golem, but what he really wants is for his sick mother to get the medicine she needs to enjoy retirement.
Aww.
There's a level of honesty and artistic earnestness that only Valve is capable of doing.
You go,
The crazy
Bebop.
part is that this game underwent a complete and total artwork redesign. What we see now as Deadlock used to be a science fiction game called Neon Prime. You can find a lot of the original Neon Prime models for some heroes before they became Deadlock heroes. I gotta say that while I don't think the Neon Prime approach was necessarily bad, Deadlock's approach is an 11 out of 10 that feels a million times more inspired and interesting to me. Deadlock has its own Twitter planet now with tons of fan art and headcanons about where the paranormal
Also, they give a lot of power to the players. Like, the new DLC characters were voted on.
1950s may go. It has an addictive gameplay loop that punishes mistakes while rewarding novel playmaking. It has the depth and width of an ocean. It has a sick art style and artistic approach that invites a lot of speculation and natural interest in the game's world. It's one of the best games I've ever played, and it's technically not even out yet. So if it's this good now, I can only imagine what the final product may look like. See you all in 2 years, whenever Valve remembers they're developing a game.
That's the one down thing about Valve. Valve has an issue with finishing shit. Valve doesn't know how to end. But no, Deadlock looks fun. One day I will play it. It's just finding time. Like, I already play Marvel Rivals, I already play Guilty Gear Strive. And adding a third MOBA hero shooter-esque game competitively, just no. That was fun. Okay, thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.